Hi! Welcome to our YouTube channel. My name is Ting Ting. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and please remember to on your notification bell. Now, our topic for today is I wish to become a full-time trader, but I believe especially nowadays, many of you would like to become a full-time trader and some of you are being retrenched. There's a reason why you want to become a full-time trader. Some of you experience pay cut. There's a reason why many of you message or private message me to ask about how to become a full-time trader. Is there any criteria or not? So later we will let you know what are the criteria for you to become a full-time trader, what are the things that you need to take note when it comes to trading. Now, before we start today's topic, we need to define full-time. There are two common definitions. One is at least it is your full-time job, meaning you 9 to 5, you're only doing trading. Or all the time you're trading. So more towards like you become a day trader. So in and out, you're trading, or scalper, etc. So this is the first definition or common definition. Second definition is more towards like you don't need to be all the time doing your trading. Maybe you're only doing about 1 hour. The rest of the time you're doing something that you like. Then what you need to do is you need to make sure so long as whatever you generate in terms of your profit able to cover your daily expenses or your monthly commitment, then you can consider yourself as a full-time trader. It depends how you define it. Personally, I might be looking at the second one, but some of it, I would say that if you are very young, maybe you can look at the first one. But second one is you still can do that. Become a full-time trader because your trading system doesn't generate all the trading signals all the time. So you can still be most of the time you're doing other things. So it depends on how you look at it. So for me is I'm looking for second one, but if you're looking at first one, there are more things that you need to do. Now, there are 5 critical requirements before you can consider to become a full-time trader. Now, what are the 5 criteria? These are all the minimum requirements that we think that need to be in place. So if you can prepare more than that, definitely it will be better. Now, the first is your financial commitments. How much you need to prepare yourself before that, what kind of returns that you are looking at. Second one, startup capitals. For you to start out, what kind of initial capitals that we are looking at exactly before you can start up. The third one is your trading experience. Do you need some trading experience before you can start? Or you don't need directly you can become a full-time trader? Number 4, consistent return. Now, the keywords here is consistent. Later, I'm going to share with you whether are you able to generate consistent return before you can consider to become a full-time trader. What are the requirements when it comes to consistent return? And the final one is interest and passion. You'll be very surprised. This number 5, it seems like very easy, but it's not easy at all. Later, I'll explain to you what are the questions that you need to ask yourself before you can become a full-time trader when it comes to interest and passion. Now, first requirement is financial commitments. What is financial commitments? Very simple to define layman terms is maybe we are looking at your fixed expenses per month. I give you some example, your fixed expenses per month now. Every month you need to pay for your car loan, housing loan, your children education, etc. These are all the fixed commitments. Every month you have this kind of fixed commitment. So you need to exactly know what is your fixed expenses per month. So if until this class you still do not know, please start to aware or alert what kind of fixed expenses that you are involved in per month. Now, first thing, when it comes to financial commitments, the requirement is what? You need to keep your monthly fixed expenses as low as possible. I repeat, you need to keep it as low as possible. Why you need to keep it as low as possible? For example, if you can keep it, let's say every month 2,000, your fixed expenses. So for you to generate any returns at 2,000, it will be less pressure compared to if your fixed expenses is at 15,000. If you need to generate every month your consistent return of 15,000, which one would be better? Definitely 2,000 would be better than 15,000. So the first criteria is try to reduce your fixed expenses. If anything is not related, just leave it. For example, do you need to own a car? It might not be, or you can take a Grab. Right now, many convenient when it comes to transportation. So try to keep your monthly fixed expenses as low as you can. Now, second part is never rely on your trading profit to support your monthly fixed commitment or your daily life expenses. I repeat, never rely on your trading profit to do that. Why? There are two reasons. First reason is because when it comes to trading, there is no consistent return in terms of month. I repeat, when it comes to trading, you are unable to generate consistent return every month. It is more wise to mention that I need to generate consistent return on yearly basis. But when it comes to money, it's very difficult. It's like sometimes when it comes to trading, certain months you're not generating any profit, certain months you're losing money, but certain months you're making 2 times or even 3 times. Why? Because sometimes the products that you're trading in, the market did not move. How are you going to generate profit? Or the direction, there's no direction trading, or there's no trend for you to trade. How are you going to do that? So, or certain products that you're trading in, it doesn't move as well. So when it comes to trading, we cannot expect a consistent monthly return. When you are expecting that today I generate this kind of profit, it's like my salary, I can support my this month expenses, this is very risky. So it's impossible that you can generate consistent monthly return. That's the reason why don't rely on your trading profit to support your every month expenses. First reason. Second reason, if you are going to rely on your trading profit every month to support your daily life, you are going to have high pressure. You are going to create anxiety. You are going to have that. Because you know why? If I do not have income, I have a pressure. If I do not have income, I'm not able to cover my support, monthly support. For example, you need to pay for your commitments. Then it's very hard. So if I rely on this trading profit, then only I can pay my monthly house loan, car loan. Then what if you did not generate? Your pressure will be very high. When you have this kind of pressure, it's very difficult for you to perform or do have performance in your trading, especially when it comes to what we call as trading results. And the last one, when it comes to financial commitment, definitely try to have a surplus saving of 12 to 24 months minimum. Now, when it comes to emergency funds, some of you might be saying that 6 months will be sufficient. Why when it comes to trading, to become a full-time trader, we require a minimum of 12 months at least? It's because when it comes to full-time traders, it's very different from previous. This one you have the pressure. So when it comes to trading, you need to have a 1 year of learning curve. So you need to be able to survive through this 1 year before you can proceed to become a successful full-time trader. So at least you allocate yourself, for example, for 1 year without any income. That's why we expect that your surplus savings to be at minimum of 12 months. If you can, try to extend it or expand it to more months. The more, the better. At least you can have a longer learning curve. So it depends how you look at it. But our requirement, we suggest that at least 12 months minimum. It will give you more time, meaning that you can buy more time to learn and go through the tough time when it comes to full-time trading. Now, second commitment is startup funds. This kind of startup fund, what kind of amount that you are looking at is some things that we need to look into it. Now, the first thing is make sure that this startup fund, or what we call it as initial capital, is provided by yourself. Never go and borrow. I repeat, never go and borrow. Another thing is, besides not going to borrow, don't use your kids' education fund, etc. Because you see, when you are going to borrow, you have that kind of pressure. Because you know why? When you borrow the money, you know that you definitely need to generate profit. You cannot allow yourself to generate losses. If you generate losses, how are you going to return the money to the person that you borrow from. So you definitely need to generate money at the initial stage before you enter the market. I tell you, it's very difficult for you to survive because psychologically you're already under pressure. Very difficult for you to have the performance, the necessary performance when it comes to trading. So make sure you use your own fund. Second thing, capital requirement. Why we put a dash is depends on what is your requirement. For example, let's say if every year I define that I need to generate a 10,000 profit in terms of absolute figure and at least 10% of return. So if I have 100,000, so 10,000 is my 10%. No? So if your 10% is 10,000, so 100% is 100,000. No? So if you quite higher, then your initial capital need to be higher. It depends on your ability to generate the percentage of return. So this one we leave it for you, but at least don't start with 4 figure. I repeat, at least don't start with 4 figure. It's very difficult for you to survive. At least minimum, maybe we are looking at 50,000 for you to start. A slightly more comfortable level for you to start. If not, if you cannot fulfill this requirement, maybe you can still start with part-time. Then until you're able to accumulate the kind of capital required, then only you go for full-time. Now, the third requirement is trading experience. Trading experience is a must. If you do not have sufficient trading experience, don't start with it. Some of them, they never trade before. They believe that if they convert themselves to become a full-time trader, they are able to generate. Many of them believe that when I put more effort, it will generate the necessary results. When it comes to trading, this does not apply. In many cases, it's when we put in the necessary hard work, we are able to generate the results that we want. But when it comes to trading, it's a bit rather, I would say that it's quite different. It doesn't mean that the more effort you put in, the more hardworking you do, the more quantity you trade, you're able to generate the necessary return. It is not. In fact, sometimes it goes the other way around. You know why it goes the other way around? Because sometimes when you are full-time trading, meaning you are sitting in front of the trading platform all the time, it will affect your emotion. Because why? Market fluctuation is common. Will it be impacted? Will it be being affected? Definitely yes. So it doesn't mean that you pay more attention in terms of your trading, you'll be able to generate higher return. It doesn't mean that. Another thing, don't forget, it doesn't mean that you increase your quantity, it will generate the necessary results. Quantity doesn't equivalent to results. The more you do, it doesn't mean the more you're able to get it back when it comes to trading. So can you see that for these items, we put the bracket 2? Because it's a very vague definition when it comes to number of years. Why? Certain people, 2 years of experience, they only trade 2 times per year. Then this, maybe for me, I don't consider as yearly trading experience. Certain people, 2 months already trade 1,000 contracts, for example. So different kind of experience that we are defining, but at least on average, maybe at least once per day. On average, meaning per year we have 250 trading days. On average, you're trading per year 250 times. Because sometimes our trading platform doesn't provide us with the signals. We don't trade for 1 month, let's say. It's okay. But on average, maybe per day, you at least need to trade 1 year. That only will consider as trading experience. Because experience is something that we cannot teach. When it comes to trading, education we can provide to you, but you cannot feel it. Certain things you don't feel it, you will never understand. It's like when you learn how to swim, people teach you when you go into the swimming pool, remember, you must kick. But the problem is, you will never feel that, why I need to kick? Just go in, that's it. But if you are not tall enough to stand in the swimming pool, if you don't kick, you do die. So you know that, I go in already, I need to start to kick because education told me. But prior to that, you don't understand. So trading experience is something that's very difficult for us to let you know. So you need to experience by yourself before you become or consider to become a full-time trader. Second, this is definitely a must. I don't think I need to explain further. You need to develop the core knowledge, skill sets, and competency. Because let's say, for example, you want to become a full-time engineers. You also undergo 4 years of universities education. So this is a must when it comes to trading. It doesn't mean that you can learn automatically, you have the talents, etc. So along the way you need to learn, you need to have the skill sets, you need to be able to upgrade yourself to the next level. Now, requirement number 4, consistent return. Now, when it comes to consistent return, the keywords is consistent. You must be able to generate consistent return. Now, why this is a requirement and you need to prove it to yourself? For example, if you are not able to generate consistent return before you become a full-time trader, never consider to convert yourself to become a full-time trader. As I mentioned to you just now, you cannot tell me that once I become a full-time trader, I have more time, I can pay more attention, I can be more hardworking, that I can generate the results that I want. It is not equivalence. So when it comes to consistent return, you need to prove it to yourself with your actual trading that you can generate consistent return. Then only you can consider yourself to have the consistent return. Now, consistent return meaning what? You must at least able to cover your monthly expenses. I repeat, you must able to cover at least your monthly expenses. If you cannot cover your monthly expenses, think of extend your time to become a full-time trader. So you must able to at least cover your monthly expenses. That's the minimum requirement when it comes to consistent return. Meaning, let's say for example, every month my expenses is 2,000. So if 2,000 times 12 months per year, I need to generate 24,000. See whether previously your performance average you are able to generate per year 24,000 of return or not. Now, when it comes to the last requirement is your interest and passion. Do you have this kind of interest and passion? Because interest and passion will last you when it comes to trading. Later I'll explain in details. So some of the core questions that you need to ask yourself, for example, do you like the job scope or not? Do you like the lifestyle or not? This kind of lifestyle and job scope is like, for example, every day from 9 to 5, I'm going to trade alone. I'm going to see my trading platform all the time. I do not have social life. Like for example, if you're working, let's say when you are very tired, you can talk to the colleague sitting besides you. You can go and discuss, have meeting with your boss, etc. If you have any problems, people are going to solve for you. You can seek some advice. But when it comes to full-time trader, technically you're yourself. You're the boss. So this kind of job scope, do you like or not? I give you some experience. I share with you. 2001 something, I become a full-time trader for 6 months before. But seriously, if you ask me, given another chance, I will not. Because during the 6 months, I find that the job scope is not something that I like. You are able to generate the profit. But the job scope, whatever you do day in, day out, is not something that I like. For example, I'll give you an example. You know that I like to talk. But when it comes to full-time trading, you are going to reduce your social life tremendously. So sometimes I even question myself, am I contributing to the society or not? Do I give anything to the society or not? Because last time when you work, at least you think that you're contributing something to the society. But when it comes to trading, do you contribute anything or not to the society? Am I useless? So these are all the questions that you need to ask yourself, whether you have the interest and the passion when it comes to the job scope and the lifestyle or not. If not, you can be part-time. If money is the only concern, I tell you, in short time, you're going to solve this issue. While longer time period, it might not be able to help you. Along the way, you might find it that the whole training journey become very boring, very dry. So if you like social life, this might not be something that you like. I even remember that until a level that when I go out, I see somebody with their shirt, their coat, right, I will admire them a lot because I love the lifestyle, or I love my life when I'm in the career, meaning when last time I'm with the investment bank, etc. So the environment is different because you're going to contain within the four walls every day. Now, second, are you going to like what you are doing as a trader? So these are all the common questions that you need to ask yourself when it comes to interest and passion. Now, these are the top 5 deadly mistakes if you are going to start as a full-time trader. So try to avoid it, then at least you can be more smooth in your trading. Now, the first one is insufficient backup funds. That's why just now we mentioned to you, your funds, you need to prepare sufficient. If not, it's very difficult for you to continue because we need sometimes for learning curve. For example, 1 year. So do you have the sufficient backup funds to support that? If not, after a year or half a year, right, basically you need to convert yourself back to a full-time employment. So sufficient, you need to get yourself ready with a sufficient capital. Second, many of you will get your losses out of hand. I repeat, your losses will be getting out of hand. Why? You don't control your risk. You let it loose. And you are having a small losses, but when it comes to big losses, but when it comes to profit, is relatively small. So make sure that you control your risk and make sure that when you get started, your risk and your target should be to be able to survive in the market. Now, once you are be able to survive in the market, that only you start to tell me that I'm looking into profit. If you are not able to survive in the market, it's very difficult for you to say that I want to become profitable. So first thing, learn how to survive in the market. Now, the third, mental emotional health. Definitely, you are going to see last time if you're working, you have your whole team, like just I mentioned, you have your colleague, anything you can discuss with them, you can solve the problem together. At least you're not lonely. But when it comes to trading, full-time trader, technically you are by yourself. You are the boss. Technically, if you are experiencing continuous losses or huge losses, etc., you become very anxiety, you have that kind of anger. Do you know how to overcome it or not? These are all the mental emotional health that is common. Now, for example, during MCO, many of you might find that, oh, very interesting. I can work from home. Some of you believe that working from home is very interesting because you don't need to stuck in the jam. You don't need to clock in on time. You're by yourself. But after a while, you might find that, something lost because you do not have social life. Then maybe you experience insomnia. So these kind of things that is common mental emotion that you need to overcome. Now, emotional management, problem solving. The keywords here is your management and problem solving. You have the kind of emotional issue is okay. It's not a problem for you to have it. If you do not have, then that is a problem. But what I mean is, to have an emotion is not a problem. But the problem is, do you know how to solve it? No. Later, I'm going to explain to you how to solve it. Now, the last one is interest in trading. Now, like just now I mentioned, if you do not have interest in trading, just imagine this is a long-term career. Are you going to able to sustain for long-term or not? So you need to have that kind of interest that along the way you face with any issues, you will know how to overcome it. If you do not have interest and the passion, along the way when you face with issue, you tend to give up. Now, the 5 must do to survive in the market. What are the 5 must do? The first one is you need to have sufficient backup funds and startup capital. This is definitely so that you can go through the learning curve and you can survive through the learning curve. Many of the full-time traders, especially when they get started, they stuck at the first year because you do not have sufficient time or sufficient backup capital to sustain you through your learning curve. Now, second, you need to have a good work ethics as traders. Be careful. Remember one thing, when it comes to full-time trader, technically you are by yourself. You need to have that kind of discipline. Do you have the discipline to prepare before your trading, during your trading, and after your trading? For example, after your trading, do you still spend some time to analyze what you have traded today, what kind of things that you need to overcome, how to become a better or profitable trader? So these kind of things that you need to be responsible to yourself because you are yourself. You are the own boss. No one is going to monitor. No one is going to give you a due date. Are you able to be disciplined enough? Are you able to be responsible enough for your own trading or not? Now, the third one, finding work-life balance, well balance between lifestyle as a trader, work-life balance. It's not easy because you see, especially if you are trading full-time from your house, how are you going to separate between your lifestyle and your working environment? Are you going to separate it out or not? So initially it's not easy, but try to be work-life balance. At least during trading hours, you focus fully on trading. During your leisure time, you focus all about your families or your own interests. Now, number 4, emotional intelligence and problem solving. The keywords here is problem solving. You need to know how to overcome. For example, when you suffered losses, do you know how to overcome your losses or not? That kind of feeling or not? Some of you might be defeated because you find that when it comes to losses, meaning that I'm not good enough, I'm a failure, I lose the money. But do you know that sometimes losses might be giving you some opportunity because you learn from it? So you need to able to solve, and no one is going to help you because you're a full-time trader. If working environment, at least you will. But when it comes to full-time trader, less people I see that they work as a team, or they they trade together less because they don't want to be impacted. So when it comes to problem solving, you must be able to solve the problem that you are facing when it comes to trading. And the last one is your interest and passion. I repeat, once you become a full-time trader, there's no so-called as retirement. So if there's no so-called as retirement, this is a long term. So let's say on average you're 40 years old. If you can survive up to 80 years old, you got 40 years in trading environment. If you do not have interest and passion, and the only target is to make money, I tell you cannot survive through. Because along the way, you're going to face a problem. How are you going to overcome it? So your interest and passion is very important. So our class for today will end here. But before I end, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and please remember to on your notification bell, and we are going to see you in our next session. Bye.